No, because I tried to go vegetarian at one point and I was like smuggling in chicken sandwiches to like college because I told everyone, once you put it out there, I'm vegetarian. So I didn't want to seem like I was rubbish and I'd failed. So I'd like eat my chicken sandwich like on the sly. So then I decided, I was like, I need to just buckle up, girl, and go vegan. And as soon as I did, like I've never gone back.
That would be me telling everyone that I'd go vegan but eating a cheese sandwich. Welcome back to another episode of Girls Know Nothing. Today's guest is a 20-year-old psychology student who's recently taken time out to pursue her passion of baking. Originally from Scarborough, she was a breath of fresh air on the TV show Great British Bake Off with her vegan recipes and was the first ever vegan baker on the show. Freya is passionate about simple vegan baking and about showing everyone how effortless and delicious it really is. So welcome to the studio, Freya. Have you always been vegan?
Yeah, so I've been vegan nearly 4 years now, but my dad's been vegan 10 years.
So like now, I always think it would be not easy, but like easier because there's more options, like when you go to restaurants and things. But 10 years ago, I couldn't imagine like being able to get an actual meal that wasn't vegetable.
Yeah, I have so much respect for my dad. Like I say it all the time. And I remember when he first went vegan and I was one of them kids that loved meat. You know what I mean? Like if there was no meat in the dinner,
nuggets.
like I'm not eating that. Yeah. So like I think back and I have so much respect for him because he's like persevered and carried it on. But he's such like a morals driven person that I like admire it. Obviously I look back now and I'm like, I wish I went vegan when he did. But like I was 12, so it's fine.
Would have been harder at school as well, like kids eating snacks and stuff.
Yeah, to be fair, I always do say that to my mum. I'm quite glad like I grew up not vegan just because like I didn't even have to think about it. But now, like you said, it's not the same. Now it's so easy.
Yeah.
The kids growing up, they can. And like some of my friends, I talk to them and they say, I'm not vegetarian, but I'll bring my kids up vegetarian because it's easier once you've been brought up vegetarian, that's all you know. But once you've been brought up loving meat, it's hard to change. Like that's society, isn't it?
Yeah, I think because I used to be like, so I had a similar story to you. Like my dad, our family used to have whole milk all the time. And then my dad had cholesterol problems, so he had to cut it back. And I refused to eat anything that wasn't whole milk.
Yeah.
But now the idea of eating something that's dairy, apart from cheese, I actually can't give cheese up. But the idea of eating dairy like freaks me out.
Well, I think I've just done this weird thing to myself because I've been vegan for 4 years. Now I've got the idea in my head that I'd be so allergic. Like the thought of, someone giving me like normal ice cream, it's like a fear. Like if I got like a coffee sometimes and like I thought it wasn't oat milk, I'd be like, sorry, are you sure? Because I'm just like terrified that I'll like throw up.
That's happened to me once. I didn't throw up. I did have a very adverse reaction.
Oh no, it's just the worst.
So it does make you a little bit paranoid. And the taste is very similar. You can't really tell.
I know, I just think the concept now of dairy is disgusting though. It's like you get that in your mind, don't you? And I totally get why people are, because like you, I get it. Like you love cheese, but that was never me. Like I just was never really that bothered about cheese. I kind of like feel like it's really gross. But yeah, we're definitely like moving in like the right direction and people love oat milk. It's the best.
So like what was the reason that you decided 4 years ago that you were going to go vegan?
So basically, right, I've got some quite brutal friends and one of them was vegan and one was vegetarian and we were in like the drive-through and I was getting a chicken legend, right? And I just was like, I'm getting a chicken legend. This is 4 years ago. And then my friend just turned to me and she was like, all right, so an animal's just died for that, yeah? And I just sat there, but she didn't really mean it in a mean way, but also she did because she was like, that's fact. So I sat there and now to this day, I still can't remember if I ate the chicken legend, but I went vegan like the next day.
Just not even vegetarian, just full on vegan?
No, because I tried to go vegetarian at one point and I was like smuggling in chicken sandwiches to like college because I told everyone, once you put it out there, I'm vegetarian. So I didn't want to seem like I was rubbish and I'd failed. So I'd like eat my chicken sandwich like on the sly. So then I decided, I was like, I need to just buckle up, girl, and go vegan. And as soon as I did, like I've never gone back.
That would be me telling everyone that I'd go vegan but eating a cheese sandwich.
Yeah, because it was like the phase, where everyone was putting food like on Instagram. And I was so in for that. So I'd like get pancakes and bacon. And I'd like push the bacon to the side and then take a picture of my pancakes because I just wanted everyone to think I was vegetarian, but I couldn't do it.
So now, how has being vegan influenced your life?
Oh, in like the best way. It totally has because I love food. I've always been in for cooking and baking, but like people say, like how did you get so into baking? It was because I went vegan because the options of like cake in the supermarket were so slim and I love cake. Like that's my favorite thing ever. So now I just am way more aware of like different foods, and like when I go on holiday, like I'm so inspired to like try new things that I wasn't before I went vegan. I guess just because you can eat anything, so why would you think about it? You just eat the same thing you've always eaten. Whereas being vegan, the options, yeah, maybe they're a bit slimmer, but they're like so much more interesting, and you have to kind of think about what you're eating. And then I think I'm a lot more, not health conscious, but I feel like so much healthier for it. Like I genuinely do.
Yeah, a lot of people have said like I think most of my friends that are vegan said the first week they felt difficult because obviously you're transitioning diets, and then afterwards they feel great.
Yeah, 100%. And I am so grateful for my dad, to be fair. I guess if neither of your parents were in any way vegetarian, maybe it would have been a bit easier. Because 4 years ago, I lived at home. So, like, my dad was cooking and things like that. But once you get into the swing of it, it becomes so easy. And nearly everybody says they wish they did it sooner. And, like, so do I.
So you study psychology at the moment, or you're in a year break? Or
No.
you had a year break?
So basically, right, so I was studying psychology when I was on Bake Off, and that was my first year, and I was supposed to sit my exams whilst I was filming Bake Off. So I said to my uni, can I move them? And they were like, listen, no. Like, unless someone's died, you're not moving them exams. Like, we don't care. So I was like, oh, I'll sit one exam while I'm on Bake Off. So everyone was in, like, the practice tent. And I was, like, in my hotel room, like, sitting my, like, maths bit of the exam.
Oh.
And then the other 3 exams just didn't do. Because I was like, oh, I'm not going to not go on Bake Off for like uni exams, because like I'll just retake the year, because I thought I'd obviously fail that year, but I didn't fail. But so then I took a year out to write my book and do things, and then I never went back.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to ask you, how did it feel to finish it if you didn't go back? Like,
No, never went back, because do you know what? Like, I come from like quite like an academic family. You know, like my brother studied at Oxford for a while.
Very fancy.
So yeah. Like I went to uni because that's what you're supposed to do. I did not love it. Like psychology, like I'm interested in it, but that job was never for me. And I just was like, oh no. Like if I can follow my dreams, like whenever it's now. Like I was like 20 at that point. I'm still just about to turn 22.
Like no responsibilities type vibe.
Yeah, and I just think like imagine me looking back and like I gave up all these opportunities just so I could get a degree in something I wasn't that bothered about.
Do you think it's pressure? Do you think you felt pressure from like how everyone tries to tell everyone that they need to go to university after 18?
Yeah, 100%. And the pressure of saying you never finished. I don't understand why that's such a big deal. You know, it's like I think it's so fair to go to university because you think that's the right thing to do. You go and then you realise that's not for me. I found a different career path and you follow that. I think that's what it should be. I don't think it should be you go and then if you don't finish, like that's a failure, because I think that's so sad because we're 18, a lot of people when they go, that's so young.
Yeah.
And I think like that pressure's so stupid and I wish we could kind of get rid of that.
I think it's also really bad to say that not finishing was a failure because, you know, it's not like you didn't finish it because you couldn't be bothered. It was you didn't finish it because you found something, you like realised your passion and you went to pursue something else instead. And I think that's braver to do that and to go away from what people tell you you're supposed to do and what is considered normal.
Yeah, and I was so lucky, to be honest, because my dad is like a really academic person. So I thought when I went to take the year out, he was going to be a bit like, oh, you should finish uni. And he was like the most supportive person ever. He was like, oh, just go for it. He was like, you've got this one opportunity now. And I'm so glad that I did. Like, I always think if I turned down like the book deal just to do another year at university, I'd have been really disappointed.
And you might never get those, like, you'll never get another opportunity to do Bake Off.
Yeah, exactly. I look back, best time of my life, and I'll always say it was the best thing I've ever done. And yeah, like I'm still only young, but like I still just can't imagine I'll ever do anything with the same experience as that. Like it's so surreal. I always say it, like when I meet people on the train and then we talk about life, and then if Bake Off comes up, like it gives me such an opportunity to like make connections with people, and they're so interesting. I think, oh, I just wouldn't ever change that for the world.
So what was the reason for you applying to go on Bake Off?
So basically, I put in my application literally the night before it closed. It was like a really impulsive thing. Like I was saying before, I am really impulsive with these things. Like my mum was like, Freya, what are you doing? Like you're not going to get on that show. Because I did just make birthday cakes for my friends. Like I've never made bread, never made pastry. I wasn't like a committed baker.
Yeah.
But I love Bake Off, best show ever. So the year before, it was like the 2020 season. I watched it and I was like, oh, it'd be sick if someone was vegan on the show.
Yeah.
Because it's got such a big audience. I thought, oh, it'd be like, have like a big impact. I thought, oh, I can't sit there and say, oh, it'd be great if I don't even apply. So I was like, oh, I'll just on a whim apply. And then it just kind of snowballed. And then I just ended up on the show.
Do you think that being vegan actually helped you in that moment to get on the show because they'd never had someone do that before?
No, they told me straight up when I got there. They were like, if you change your mind, we did not have you on because you were vegan. We're not bothered that you're vegan. And that's like a big thing. I wish people didn't think, because I understand why people think, and people say to me, oh, you got on because like you were the vegan. And no, literally the first day they were like, oh, some of the challenges were really hard to do vegan. And they were like, honestly, like you can switch your recipes now if you want. You don't have to be vegan. We like loved you as a person. We're not bothered. And I think that was really sweet of them to say.
That's really nice, actually. What were the challenges like when you were trying to make the recipes or do the challenges but make them vegan?
Oh, some of them were horrendous, So the week after that I went out, it was like a choux pastry recipe, so like eclairs.
Oh, yeah.
And if anybody knows anything about baking, that is the hardest thing to be vegan because it's basically pure egg, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I cried so many times with that. I couldn't come up with any recipe. And basically what I came up with in the end, they were like, oh, it's not choux pastry, but like you can do what you want. So it would have been a nightmare if that was on the show.
Because I know in like baking you can use banana instead of egg, but I couldn't imagine you making that kind of pastry with a banana.
Oh, it was just horrendous. I tried everything, chia seeds, just looked like a frog spawn mess. It was genuinely appalling. Like, probably would have really embarrassed myself that week. But I also was like, well, I'm going to stick by my morals. Because a lot of people said to me, why do it just for that challenge? You just use eggs. And I was like, oh, how am I ever going to have respect from people? Because I'm standing by what I believe in. So I want to like follow that through, even if it is a major flop.
So what is it like being on the show? So I love watching it because I also love cake, but you never see all of the like hard work that goes behind it. You just see people making stuff.
Do you know what you really don't see is the amount people cry? Like they cut that down. It's so intense that like in normal life, if your cake is not going well, you're just like, this is hilarious. No worries. No, everyone's hysterical. It's like the time is going really fast. And then obviously you have like 3 cameras on you at one point, and especially, the really intense bits. So say you're like taking something out the oven, or I made like a rocking horse and I had to flip it over to make sure it stood right. They'll see you're about to do something, they'll like call people over. And then there'll be like 3 cameras on you, like, she's gonna flip it. And it's so intense. So those are the times when if it goes wrong, it's just such a build up that they just like burst out crying.
I'm one of those people that would do things wrong because people are watching me.
Yeah,
the pressure of having to do it.
100%. And also they're asking you questions though, about what you're doing. So it's not just like you're just carrying on and they're filming. They're like, so what are you doing? What are you doing? And it gets to the point where you're like, right, listen, come on. I need a second to do this, otherwise it's going to be a disaster. But that's what makes the show great. There's so many funny moments and it wouldn't be Bake Off without that.
Did you get a lot of like people reaching out and messaging you because you like your recipes were vegan based?
Yes, so many. Even like people that meet me in the street are so sweet. They're like, oh, we're so inspired by you being vegan. And most people say to me, I'm not vegan, but I'm going to give it a go. And I love your recipes. And a lot of people, even like with my book, they get it. They're not vegan. They just like love my recipes and the things that I make. And they're like, oh, it just happens to be vegan. And that's what I was really trying to give off. But I was actually overwhelmed by the positive response because I knew it was going to create like a bit of uproar and controversy with it being vegan. But actually the majority of people were so sweet.
Well, I don't understand what the uproar or like controversy is. You're just deciding not to eat animal product.
Oh, there's loads of murder, basically because when I was on the show, I had a horse at the time as a pet. And that's like a bit of a sore subject with vegans. I don't anymore just because my life took a different direction. And I think I was prepared that it would cause a little bit of chaos, but I was like 19 and now I look back and I'm like, oh, I just was so naive. Like I didn't realize, but it's fine. That's what you set yourself up for. I think being on like a TV show, you've got to know people are going to have an opinion and they're like entitled to it.
I think it's hard. You can't be perfect and be able to do everything. I think it's just about doing your part, right?
That's what I thought. I was like, oh, I'm just doing my best in this situation. And I look back and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have taken so much of it to heart, but everyone probably thinks that.
What was it like? So getting your book deal, what was it like when someone told you, like, we want you to write a book?
Do you know what? It was really intense. And now I look back and I wish I'd been, this is what I've taken away from Bake Off. I wish I'd been more in the moment with everything that happened because it was so fast after Bake Off. Literally after it finished, I think I had like 5 offers or like quite a few different ones. And there was like 2 main ones, which I was deciding between. And it very much just was like, right, I've decided, let's start writing it. And it wasn't a bit of like a sit back moment, like, oh, this is such a big achievement. But it was really intense. But I wrote the book in maybe like 3-4 months, a really
That's
short amount of time.
Yeah, very small amounts of reviews are not stressful.
Yeah, it was so stressful, but I'd taken that year out of university. So it was like I put everything into that book, and I still like I'm so proud of it now. But I look back and I wish I'd sort of like taken it in a bit more and been in the moment. But everybody probably says that.
Why is it so important to you to like make vegan baking considered accessible to people?
So I'm vegan purely for the animals. Like I'm a really like morals driven person. It's not for my health or obviously the benefits of the environment are great, but I just love animals. And I am, like I said, that my dad is, I'm really morals driven. So once I believe in something, I find it really hard to let it go. And I know a lot of people say to me in a joking way, like, well, ignorance is bliss. And I do agree, but I can't be that person. Once I've made my mind up and I've researched a lot about it, I kind of just can't let it go. So I just want people to know that even if they don't want to commit everything to being vegan, you could just do like a little bit here and there. Because maybe that's how I should have gone into it. You know, I didn't need to go the whole hog. I could have just tried a little bit. And I think that's how we're going to reach more people. There's more people just trying it, maybe saying, oh, I'll make this cake vegan 1 week. And then they're going to realize, oh, it's super easy. I'll do it again.
I think people also think it's considered really expensive because like all the alternatives are so expensive.
Do you know what? That is so true. People think it's so expensive and I get it, but I am a budget queen. Like I'm not wanting to spend that extra money. And there's so many ways when you learn, there's like easy swaps of things that are a lot cheaper. It doesn't have to be, but I understand on the surface it looks like it's really expensive. Because like I was obviously a student before and even now it's not like I want to spend so much money on it. So I think people just need to take the time and research from other people, but I get it.
So when people read your book, what can they expect to like find inside?
So they can expect to find 70 recipes. Basically, I think any recipe that you'd ever want. And I basically wanted to make recipes that are normal cakes that everyone would want, but happen to be vegan. These are not weird, you know, like niche ingredients. It's all stuff you can get from any supermarket because that's what I really wanted. I just want normal, really good cake that doesn't use animal products. But then it's not just cake, there's bread, there's biscuits, there's loads of desserts. Like there's a really, really good pavlova recipe. So that's a lot of things. Yeah, pavlova's the best. And I have so many people say, how are you getting your pavlova to stand upright? And it's the really specific bits of the recipe that you need. So I think it's a really necessary book for vegan baking.
So what are your like future aspirations and goals? Like what is like the big thing that you want to be able to achieve?
Do you know what? I'm hardcore one of those people that wants to do everything. I'll go in rogue directions each day. I'll be like, oh, I could do anything. But I've done a really big collaboration with, so I'm really Yorkshire, obviously, in a Yorkshire house called Castle Howard that was like the whole of this year. And it's been amazing. I did bakes with them throughout the year that they sell in the shop and they're basically my bakes, like from recipes from my book. So I'm hoping to work with them again next year. We're just like in talks about that. So that's really good. And I've been doing lots of bits with different vegan social media pages and stuff like that. So just everything. I want to carry on riding the wave and just like enjoying it while I can. And yeah, just making loads of cool experiences.
I'd love to see you be able to do a show like MasterChef.
Do you know what I would love to do? Because Young MasterChef is up to 25. So I'm just about to turn 22. And I think that'd be so cool. Because that'd be...
You're so old.
No, really. Wait, I never asked you how old you are.
No, we don't want to ask that.
No, we don't talk about that.
But no, I can imagine. Like, I think it'd actually be really cool to watch somebody do MasterChef, but like be able to do it vegan.
Yeah, I think it would be great. So I'd love to definitely think about that because I've still got like a few more years. But TV was the best. I loved it. And I just thought it was such an amazing experience. And I expected to be so maybe more overwhelmed than I was. But I just felt like it was something I really, really enjoyed doing. And I would love to do it again.
Did you not? I'm probably the only person I've spoken to that said TV wasn't overwhelming.
I'm just a chill person though. Just like, I think... I don't know, just take it as it comes. It was obviously a bit overwhelming. Like I said, I cried all the time. But I also look back and I would just do anything to do it again. I have done bits of, CBBC, Saturday Mashup, hilarious show because it's live TV with all the kids. And I just think it's great. Like I just absolutely love it. I think my personality just fits with it.
Do you ever like look back on things that you did at Bake Off and think, oh, I wish I did that differently?
Oh, every single thing I did. I look back and I'm like, oh, I wish I could do everything differently. Honestly, I could talk to people and I'm like, do you not feel like that? And they're like, no. Because I didn't know what Bake Off was going to be like. I think I had absolutely no idea. And there's tactics you learn from like the briefs that you get given. And now you look back and you're like, oh, I should have done that differently. But then I guess that's the point of the show. You can't do that. But yeah, I look back now because like Pavlova that I did on week 4 was like the biggest embarrassment ever. And I look back and I'm like, no, it was literally like a bowl of slop. And like Paul picked it up and he was looking at me and I was like, we both know this is bad. We don't need to discuss it. It was so bad. So I wish I could go back.
So when you get a brief, what happens? Like, what's the process between getting the brief and actually baking the cake?
Oh, you've just got to come up with it. As long as it fits that brief, you don't get any advice, you don't get any guidance. It's just you come up with your creative idea that fits the brief and then it's on the show.
So is it all done in one day?
No. So you get the brief. Well, mine obviously was during COVID. So I think this year is probably slightly different, but we got the briefs quite a bit before we obviously went because we quarantined, isolated like in the hotel.
Okay.
So you couldn't go home. It was like we filmed 2 days on, 2 days off. So that was again why it was a weird experience because it was a bit like kind of like Big Brother, Love Island, you know, like you're all trapped in.
Yeah.
You can't just leave. You can't get in the car and go.
I think that makes it worse. I think it makes the experience more overwhelming.
It was, but then I look back and we were quite a close season. Like we all were quite close friends at the time. Like there's videos of me and Lizzie like sliding down the slide at like 1 a.m. in the random park that we found on the hotel grounds. Like it was stuff like that we wouldn't have been able to do if we weren't. And I think that's why we all made such good friends.
Do you think you'll ever go back to uni?
Oh, I think that's a great question because I couldn't give an answer either way because I do really like studying and I am quite like an academic person. So yeah, I think I would like to study something like journalism because I'm really into writing and all of that type of thing. But psychology, no.
So does psychology have an impact in like what you do now? No.
Oh yeah, everything. Because I'm a really I'm a big overthinker.
Okay.
So you know, like I'll see someone get on the tube and do something weird, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's psychology." That like everything, I'm like over analyzing, and maybe that's why it's not for me.
Yeah.
Because maybe I'd be so swooped in. Like I always think I couldn't be a therapist because I'd be so intensely over analyzing it. Where in a lot of things, it's just how that day planned out.
It might be. You might be a really good therapist if you have to do that.
I think I'd be intense, yeah.
I kind of like that though. Then you like actually get someone to say something back to you rather than just like nodding at you.
Yeah. I think I would. I love giving advice. I think I always think I give great advice to my friends, but then sometimes I'm like, Freya, is it good advice or are you just overly invested in everyone's lives? But either way, I'll take it.
I think you'd know if it was bad advice, right?
No, I don't know.
What advice would you give to your future, like for your future self? Like what advice would you take from everything that you've learned?
I think I'd definitely take away, like I was saying, be more in the moment and enjoy the opportunities as they come because they're not always going to happen again. And I think life is so odd, so many ups and downs. And that's what I found coming out of Bake Off. There's so many highs, but that come with so many like intense lows. And I look back on it and think, like I saw my book on the billboard in Leicester Square and I wish I could go back to that and be more in the moment because I was so worried about, well, what am I going to be doing next week though? And it's like, I don't think you can really live life like that because you don't know what's coming. You don't know how long you've got. I wish I could just have enjoyed it more. So I'm definitely going to try and attempt to do that.
Yeah, because I think when you come off a show, everyone always talks about the high bits, but no one talks about the low bits. And then you kind of just forget to experience both of it as it comes.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's the only reason why the highs are so high because the lows come so intensely. I think you can avoid them. And I've spoken to obviously people from different shows, not just Bake Off. And I think everybody kind of experiences the same thing because you also come off the show, like you'll know, and do even like this. This is a crazy thing that maybe at some point you maybe never knew you were going to do. Maybe you did, but like I look back and I'm like, oh, I never knew I was going to write a book. So you're not really prepared for these things. So then when you have like a day of normal life, you're like, what's going on?
I'm quite an impulsive person.
Yeah.
If something's in my head, I have to do it, otherwise I won't let it go.
Yeah.
I also feel like my brain's got like 10 million tabs open.
Yeah, 100%. Because I heard from somebody the other day that some people, you know, you're just going around everyday life and everything's going on in your head. Some people don't have that. Some people just have nothing going on in their brain. And I'm like, I don't know what that feels like.
I can't, wait, now I'm going to be thinking about that. Or that's another tab that's open in my brain now.
Yeah.
But surely they can't. Like, they won't be people that have nothing going on.
Like they'll just be a bit doolally. Like maybe there'll be something, but they're not thinking. Like I'm walking around London and I'm thinking, well, what's going on every day? I'm thinking about everything. And some people are just not like that.
I kind of would love to experience that for one day.
Yeah, me too. That's the dream.
Yeah, then I'd be able to sleep really well that night.
Yeah, I'm like, is that what it's going to feel like being retired? Because I'm just never going to know.
Maybe that's why people don't retire.
Yeah, 100% it is. I was like, oh, I could never retire. Like, oh, no, I'd be so depressed.
No, but then also it would be great because you get to bake forever. It's a hobby that's never going to go away.
Yeah, 100%. Baking is the best. I think if anybody's ever stressed, get baking.
Do you know what? Actually, I agree. Like it was my favorite thing to do during lockdown, but now I made me realize how much I love doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just busy life means that you never take time to do that kind of stuff that you enjoy.
Yeah, 100%. But that is part of Bake Off that people don't realise. I think it causes loads of family stress, because, you think baking's really chill.
Yeah.
I was practicing in my mum's kitchen, obviously, because I'm 19 at this point. Oh, it was murder, There was mess all the time. It was about maybe the second to last day before I left for Bake Off, because it was in Essex.
Okay.
I had to travel, and I was trying to practice this really intense recipe and had this massive glass jug full of boiling hot jam. Because if people know, jam is liquid when it's hot.
Yeah.
Sets. I had this jug and I accidentally knocked this jug off the side, and she's got tiles on the kitchen, smashes all over the floor, this boiling hot red jam all over the floor. She starts crying, leaves the room.
I'd cry.
She leaves the house and I'm like, wow, this is it. I'm getting kicked out then.
I'd cry if I dropped jam.
Yeah.
Especially when it's hot.
I was like, I need some compensation here from this show. Like, this is ruining my life.
It's a whole different type of PTSD.
Yeah.
I kind of asked you the question a little bit earlier, but I always ask my guests the same final question. What advice would you give to your younger self based on your personal and career journey so far?
I would say to myself, stop stressing out so much, because I am the type of person I'll be thinking, so I remember I'll have been 15 and I'll be thinking like, what am I going to do with my life? And I think it's so sad. I think it is societal pressure though, but I think it's so sad that we're all so stressed about what we're going to do, especially like our career and for the rest of our life. And we've got so much time to just be in the moment and enjoy messing up and making mistakes. Like I wish I could have gone back like my teenage years and being like, it doesn't matter. Even if like you mess things up, you're going to be able to fix it later on. It's not that big of a deal, because I'm just not a chill person. I can't just not take everything really seriously.
I think as well, when you were saying earlier about changing your mind about university, 18 is so young to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life. Like the average person lives to their like 80.
Well, that's it. I think people forget that a lot of people have major career changes when they're like 40.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's also fine. Why are we deciding what we're going to do for the rest of our lives until we die? It's like sad.
It is. And do you know what? I'm going to have to, I do like vegan cakes. There's one cake in Sainsbury's and is it called Eggless?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know which ones I'm on about?
Yeah, is it Oggs?
Oggs.
Yeah, they're such a good company and I love them.
I love them. They're so expensive though.
Yeah.
And you only get 4 in a box, which is just really annoying.
Yeah, I've done loads of work with them. They're really nice.
No, I really like them. So maybe I need to pick up your book and give vegan bacon a go.
So I'll just send it to this address. I'll send it over.
I'm going to be that really annoying person that tests all of my baking on everyone else now.
That was me, but you've got to, otherwise you'd be huge. I always think when I leave Bake Off, if I'd have eaten everything I'd have made, it'd be a disaster.
No, thank you so much for coming on, and I can't wait to see what you get up to next.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.